The first thing you learn about marriage is that perfection is just another word for lying really well. I'm Mark Harlan, 38 years old, and I've been watching my wife Lydia practice that particular art for the past 6 months. She thinks I'm too busy debugging corporate security systems to notice her new habits. The late nights, the secretive phone calls, the way she suddenly developed an obsession with work events that require weekend trips. I'm sitting in our pristine Dallas kitchen this Tuesday morning, watching Lydia butter toast with the same mechanical precision she applies to everything else. Our daughters, Sophie and Ellie, are arguing about some school drama, their voices mixing with the morning news. Everything looks normal. Everything feels wrong. "Mark, you're staring," Lydia says without looking up from her phone. She's typing furiously, her manicured nails clicking against the screen like tiny hammers. "Just admiring my beautiful wife," I reply, keeping my voice light. The sarcasm slides right past her. It always does. Lydia's selective hearing is Olympic level. She glances up, flashes that practiced smile that used to make my heart skip. Now it just makes me wonder who else has been receiving it lately. "I'll be late tonight. Big presentation tomorrow." "Another one?" I ask, sipping my coffee. "That's what, the 4th this month?" "The Henderson account is crucial." She's already back to her phone, thumbs flying. "Joel thinks we might land the biggest contract in company history." Joel. There it is. Joel Baxter, her married coworker with the black BMW and the reputation for being what my friend Ray calls a predator in an expensive suit. Lydia mentions him approximately every third sentence these days. "Joel thinks this, Joel says that," I mutter into my coffee cup. "What?" "Nothing, honey. Just thinking out loud." After Lydia leaves in a cloud of expensive perfume and vague promises, I help the girls get ready for school. Sophie, my 12-year-old, has inherited my talent for observation. "Mom's been weird lately," she says, shouldering her backpack. "Weird how?" "She talks to her phone more than she talks to us, and she smells different. Kids notice everything. Adults just pretend they don't." I drop the girls at school and drive to my office, but my mind keeps circling back to Lydia's behavior. As an IT security consultant, I spend my days thinking like the bad guys, finding vulnerabilities, predicting how systems can be compromised. The irony isn't lost on me that I've been ignoring the most obvious security breach of all. That afternoon, I'm debugging a client's network when my phone buzzes. Text from Lydia. "Working late again. Don't wait up." I stare at the message for a long moment, then do something I've never done before. I call her office. "Lydia Harlan's desk," answers her assistant, Monica. "Hi, Monica. It's Mark. Is Lydia available?" "Oh, hi, Mr. Harlan. Actually, Lydia left about an hour ago. She said she had an important meeting across town." The pieces click into place with the satisfying precision of code compiling correctly. Lydia lied. Not a white lie, not a misunderstanding, a deliberate, calculated deception. I thank Monica and hang up, then sit back in my chair. 20 years of marriage, and I've become the Wi-Fi she only calls when it's down. Before we dive deeper into this story, I have one small request. Please subscribe, drop a like, comment, and hit that hype button to boost this channel so more people can discover these incredible Reddit stories. That evening, I'm helping Ellie with her math homework when Lydia finally comes home. Her hair is slightly mussed, her lipstick gone, and she's carrying that particular glow that comes from doing something you shouldn't. "Sorry I'm so late," she says, kissing the top of my head. "The meeting ran forever." "How did it go?" I ask, not looking up from Ellie's fractions. "Great. Really great. Joel was brilliant with the client." "I thought you said the meeting was across town." She freezes for just a moment, barely perceptible, but I catch it. "It was. Joel met me there." "Of course he did." After the girls go to bed, Lydia disappears into the bathroom for what she calls her evening routine. I'm loading the dishwasher when her phone, forgotten on the kitchen counter, lights up with a text. I shouldn't look. A decent husband wouldn't look. But I'm not feeling particularly decent right now. The message is from JB, Joel Baxter, obviously. "Tonight was incredible. Can't wait for Friday." My hands are steady as I screenshot the message and forward it to my own phone. Then I do something that surprises even me. I type a response. Ask him how his wife likes the new photos. I send it, delete the evidence, and place the phone back exactly where Lydia left it. Then I wait. The explosion comes exactly 4 minutes later. Lydia's shriek from upstairs could wake the neighbors. I hear her running down the hallway, then thundering down the stairs. "Mark!" She bursts into the kitchen, phone clutched in her hand, eyes wild. How did I, what?" I ask mildly, closing the dishwasher. "My phone. Someone sent..." She stops, realizing she's about to confess to something she's not supposed to be doing. Sent what? I turn to face her, and for the first time in months, I see the real Lydia. Not the polished HR executive or the perfect suburban wife, but the woman who just got caught with her hand in the cookie jar. Nothing, she says finally. Just work stuff. Probably a glitch. Technology can be tricky, I agree. You never know who might be watching. She stares at me for a long moment, trying to read my expression, but I've had years of practice keeping my thoughts to myself. I'm going to bed, she says. Sweet dreams. After she leaves, I pour myself a scotch and sit in my home office, thinking. Lydia's phone buzzes 12 times in the next hour. I can hear it from upstairs, along with her increasingly frantic voice as she tries to explain away the mysterious message to Joel. My own phone pings around midnight. Unknown number? You don't know the half of it. Ask Clara about Mexico. I stare at the message, mind racing. Clara is Lydia's best friend, her partner in crime for shopping trips and girls' nights out. And Mexico, Lydia went to a conference in Cancun 3 months ago, came back with a tan and a new attitude. I finish my scotch and head upstairs. Lydia is pretending to sleep, but her breathing is too controlled, too careful. She's lying awake, probably wondering how much I know. The answer is not enough. Yet. But I'm a patient man, and I'm very good at solving puzzles. This one is just getting started. The next morning, Lydia is all smiles and coffee, acting like nothing happened. She's wearing my favorite dress, the blue one that brings out her eyes, and she's made pancakes. Lydia hasn't made pancakes in 2 years. You're in a good mood, I observe, accepting the plate she offers. Just grateful for my family, she says, leaning down to kiss my cheek. Sometimes I think I don't appreciate what I have. Sophie and Ellie exchange glances across the table. Kids can smell manipulation a mile away. After everyone leaves, I sit in my office and stare at that anonymous text. Ask Clara about Mexico. Clara Martinez has been Lydia's closest friend since college. They talk every day, share every secret, and if anyone knows what really happened in Cancun, it's her. But approaching Clara directly would be like announcing my suspicions with a bullhorn. I need a subtler approach. I spend the morning setting up what I call a digital dragnet. New email accounts, social media profiles, reverse phone lookups. If Lydia and Joel think they're being clever with their affair, they're about to learn that amateur hour just ended. By lunch, I've confirmed that Joel Baxter is indeed married to a woman named Karen, has 2 teenage kids, and drives a BMW with the license plate Winner 1, subtle as a brick through a window. I'm cross-referencing Joel's social media activity when my friend Ray calls. Want to grab a beer? He asks. I've got news about your situation. Ray Kowalski is a plumber who looks like a linebacker and has the social intelligence of a detective. We meet at Murphy's Pub, our usual spot, and he slides a folder across the table. Took some digging, he says, but your wife and her boyfriend aren't as careful as they think. Inside the folder are photos, Lydia and Joel at restaurants I've never heard of, holding hands across candlelit tables. Joel's hand on Lydia's back as they enter a hotel. Lydia laughing at something Joel is whispering in her ear. How long? I ask. Based on what I could find? At least 8 months, maybe longer. 8 months. While I was working late to pay for Sophie's piano lessons and Ellie's soccer camp, Lydia was playing house with Joel Baxter. There's more, Ray says. I talked to a buddy who works at their company. Word is this isn't Joel's first rodeo. Guy's got a reputation for going after married women in the office. And Lydia? Ray's expression darkens. According to my source, she's not exactly innocent. There have been rumors about other guys, too. The scotch tastes like ash in my mouth. Other guys? Nothing confirmed. But Mark, you need to know. People are talking. Your wife isn't as discreet as she thinks. I close the folder and slide it back to Ray. I need you to do something for me. Name it. I need to talk to Clara, but not directly. Ray grins. Leave it to me. That afternoon, Ray's wife Jennifer accidentally runs into Clara at the grocery store. Jennifer has always been friendly with Clara, and it's natural for her to mention how worried she is about Mark, how he seems stressed lately, how she's concerned about his marriage. Clara, being Clara, can't resist sharing what she knows. Oh, honey, Clara apparently says. You have no idea. Lydia's been going through a rough patch. She's been confiding in me about some personal issues. Jennifer, playing her part perfectly, expresses concern and sympathy. Clara, feeling important and trusted, shares more details than she should. By evening, I have a clearer picture of my wife's extracurricular activities. The Mexico trip wasn't a conference. It was a romantic getaway with Joel. The late nights aren't work meetings, they're hotel room rendezvous. And according to Clara, Lydia has been complaining about me for months, painting me as an inattentive husband who doesn't appreciate her. I'm in my office, processing this information, when Lydia comes home. She's carrying flowers. White roses, my supposed favorites, though she's apparently forgotten that I'm allergic to roses. "Surprise," she says, presenting the bouquet with a flourish. "Just because." "They're beautiful," I say, accepting the flowers and immediately feeling my sinuses start to react. "What's the occasion?" "Do I need an occasion to buy my husband flowers?" "Of course not." I set the roses on my desk, as far from my face as possible. "How was work?" "Busy. Joel and I had to review the Henderson proposal again. We might need to work this weekend to get everything perfect." "This weekend?" I ask. "But Saturday is Sophie's recital." Lydia's face falls, not because she forgot about Sophie's recital, but because she forgot she was supposed to pretend to care about it. "Oh, right. The recital. Well, maybe Joel and I can work around it." "I'm sure Joel will understand. His family comes first, too, right?" Something flickers in her eyes. "Right, of course." After dinner, while Lydia is helping the girls with homework, I do something I've never done before. I check her email. It's easier than it should be. She uses the same password for everything, and I set up most of her accounts years ago. What I find makes my chest tighten with anger. Dozens of messages between Lydia and Joel, going back 10 months. Love letters, if you can call them that, plans for secret meetings, complaints about their respective spouses, and worst of all, discussions about their future together. One message from Lydia, dated 3 weeks ago. "Mark is so clueless. Sometimes I think he wouldn't notice if I moved out completely. He's more interested in his computers than his wife." Joel's response. "Soon, baby. We just need to be patient. Once I figure out how to handle Karen and you deal with Mark, we can be together properly." I screenshot everything, save it to an encrypted drive, and close the laptop. My hands are shaking, not with sadness, but with rage. Lydia thinks I'm clueless. Joel thinks I'm an obstacle to be dealt with. They're planning my humiliation, probably discussing it over expensive wine and hotel room service. They have no idea who they're dealing with. I spend the next hour setting up anonymous email accounts and researching Joel's wife, Karen. She works as a nurse at Dallas Presbyterian, volunteers at her kids' school, and based on her social media, believes she has a loving, faithful husband. Time to change that. I craft a careful message to Karen's work email. "I think you should know what your husband is really doing during his business meetings. Check his credit card statements for charges at the Marriott downtown. Room 412. Every Tuesday and Thursday for the past 3 months. I don't sign it. I don't need to." Then I sit back and wait for the fireworks to begin. The next morning, Lydia is quiet over breakfast. She keeps checking her phone, frowning at the screen. "Everything okay?" I ask. Joel seems stressed about something. He's been sending weird messages all morning. "Work troubles?" "I don't know. He won't say." I hide my smile behind my coffee cup. Joel's about to have bigger problems than work. Around noon, my phone rings. Unknown number. "Mark Harlan?" "Speaking." "This is Karen Baxter. I think we need to talk." Karen Baxter has the kind of voice that could cut glass when she's angry, and she's definitely angry. We agree to meet at a coffee shop across town, neutral territory where neither of us is likely to run into our cheating spouses. She's already waiting when I arrive, a small woman with dark hair and intelligent eyes that are currently shooting sparks. She's still wearing her nurse's scrubs, which tells me she came straight from work. "You sent me that email," she says without preamble. "I don't know what you're talking about." "Cut the crap, Mark. I did my homework. Your wife is screwing my husband, and you figured it out first." I sit down across from her and signal the waitress for coffee. "What makes you think that?" "Because you're the only one with the technical skills to track them this precisely, and the motivation to tell me about it." She slides a folder across the table. "Plus, I did some digging of my own." Inside are credit card statements, hotel receipts, and restaurant bills, a paper trail of adultery, meticulously documented. "How long have you known?" I ask. "I suspected for months. Joel's been acting strange, new clothes, new cologne, working late constantly, but I didn't have proof until your email." She leans forward. "The question is, what are we going to do about it?" "We? Don't play dumb. They think we're idiots, Mark. They're planning their future together while lying to our faces every single day. I heard Joel on the phone last night talking about handling the situation with his wife." The waitress brings my coffee. I add sugar slowly, thinking. "What do you have in mind?" Karen's smile is sharp enough to perform surgery. "I want them to lose everything. Their jobs, their reputations, their friends. I want them to understand what it feels like to have your life destroyed by someone you trust." That's a tall order. I'm a very motivated person. Over the next hour, Karen and I compare notes. The picture that emerges is even worse than I thought. Joel has been cheating on Karen for years, with multiple women. Lydia isn't his first victim. She's just the latest in a long line of married women he's seduced and discarded. The difference is, Karen says, Lydia thinks she's special. She thinks Joel is going to leave me for her. Is he? Joel will never leave me. I have too much dirt on him, and he knows it. He's playing your wife, Mark. She's going to get her heart broken along with everything else. We exchange phone numbers and agree to coordinate our efforts. Karen knows Joel's patterns and weaknesses. I know Lydia's secrets and have access to her digital life. Together, we can orchestrate their downfall with surgical precision. That evening, I'm helping Sophie practice piano when Lydia comes home looking frazzled. Her hair is disheveled, her makeup smeared, and she's clutching her phone like a lifeline. Rough day? I ask. Joel's wife is being difficult. She's asking questions about his schedule. Maybe she's just concerned about him working so much. Lydia gives me a sharp look. Maybe. After the girls go to bed, Lydia disappears into the bathroom for another of her lengthy beauty routines. I use the time to implement phase 1 of what Karen and I have dubbed Operation Exposure. I create a fake social media profile, Jennifer Walsh, recently divorced HR consultant from Austin. Jennifer is attractive, professional, and looking for a fresh start in Dallas. More importantly, Jennifer has mutual friends with several people from Lydia's company. Within an hour, Jennifer has sent friend requests to a dozen of Lydia's coworkers, including her boss, Sandra Mitchell. By tomorrow, Jennifer will be part of their social circle, perfectly positioned to gather intelligence and, when the time comes, share some very interesting information. My phone buzzes with a text from Karen. Phase 1 complete. Joel's having a very bad week. I smile and type back. It's about to get worse. The next day is Saturday, Sophie's piano recital. Lydia has been promising for weeks that she'll be there, but this morning she's already making excuses. I know I said I'd come, she says, not meeting my eyes. But this Henderson thing is falling apart. Joel needs me to help salvage the presentation. On Saturday? Business doesn't follow a calendar, Mark. Sophie, dressed in her recital outfit, looks crushed. But Mom, you promised. I know, sweetheart. I'll make it up to you, I promise. Another promise from Lydia. They're becoming as worthless as Confederate money. Don't worry about it, I tell Sophie, giving her a hug. We'll record everything so Mom can watch it later. After Lydia leaves, I load the girls into the car and drive to the community center. The recital is beautiful. Sophie plays Chopin with the kind of passion that brings tears to my eyes. I record everything, not for Lydia, but for myself. These are the moments that matter, the real life that's been happening while my wife chases fantasies with Joel Baxter. During intermission, my phone buzzes with a message from my Jennifer Walsh account. Sandra Mitchell, Lydia's boss, has accepted the friend request and sent a message. Do we know each other? You look familiar. I respond as Jennifer. I don't think we've met, but I'm new to the Dallas area and trying to connect with other HR professionals. I heard great things about your company. The conversation flows naturally. Sandra is proud of her team and happy to talk about the company culture. She mentions that they're working on a big presentation this weekend, the Henderson account. Actually, Sandra types, 2 of my best people are putting in extra hours today to make sure everything's perfect. That's dedication, Jennifer responds. I hope they're at least working somewhere comfortable. I think they're at the Marriott downtown. Joel suggested it because they have good conference facilities. Bingo. I forward the information to Karen, along with a simple message. Room 412, today, 2 p.m. Her response is immediate. On my way. The recital ends with thunderous applause. Sophie beams as she takes her bow, and I feel a surge of pride that has nothing to do with revenge plots or cheating spouses. This is what matters. My daughters, their achievements, their happiness. But as we drive home, I can't help but think about what's happening across town. Karen Baxter is about to get photographic evidence of her husband's infidelity, courtesy of the hotel's security cameras and a carefully timed surprise visit. My phone rings as we're pulling into the driveway. Karen's voice is tight with controlled fury. Got them, she says simply. Both of them, in living color. And? Let's just say Joel's going to have a lot of explaining to do when he gets home. That evening, Lydia returns looking satisfied with herself. She's carrying takeout from an expensive restaurant, guilt food meant to make up for missing Sophie's recital. How did it go? She asks, distributing containers of Thai food. Sophie was amazing, I say. You really missed something special. I know, and I feel terrible. But the presentation is finally coming together. Joel and I made real progress today. I'm sure you did. She gives me a curious look but doesn't press. We eat dinner as a family, Lydia asking the girls about their day, pretending to be the devoted mother and wife. She's good at it, I'll give her that. If I didn't know better, I'd believe the performance myself. After dinner, while Lydia is upstairs giving the girls their baths, my phone buzzes with a text from an unknown number. This is Clara. We need to talk. Tomorrow. It's about Lydia and Mexico. I stare at the message, mind racing. Clara Martinez, Lydia's best friend and confidant. The woman who knows all of Lydia's secrets. The woman who apparently wants to tell me about them. I text back, when and where. Her response comes quickly. Starbucks on Elm Street, 10 a.m. Come alone, and Mark. Prepare yourself. It's worse than you think. Clara Martinez looks like she hasn't slept in weeks. She's sitting in the corner of the Starbucks, nursing a large coffee and checking her phone nervously. When she sees me, she waves me over with the urgency of someone who's been carrying a heavy secret too long. Mark, she says as I sit down, I'm so sorry. I should have told you months ago. Told me what? She takes a shaky breath. About Lydia. About what she's been doing. About Mexico. I lean back in my chair, keeping my expression neutral. I'm listening. She made me promise not to tell anyone. Said it would destroy her family if it got out. But I can't keep lying for her anymore. It's eating me alive. Clara pulls out her phone and scrolls through her photos. This is from Cancun, 3 months ago. The image on her screen makes my stomach clench. Lydia and Joel on a beach, his arms around her waist, both of them laughing. They're wearing wedding rings, not their real ones, but matching gold bands that catch the sunlight. They told everyone at the resort they were newlyweds. Clara says quietly. Lydia made up this whole story about how they'd just gotten married, and this was their honeymoon. You were there? I was supposed to be. Lydia invited me on what she said was a girls' trip, but when I got to the airport, she told me plans had changed. Joel was coming instead. Clara's voice breaks slightly. She paid for my ticket, my hotel reservation, everything. Then she just left me there. I process this information slowly. So, you went to Cancun alone? No, I went with them. Lydia begged me to cover for her, to be her alibi. She said if anyone asked, we'd been together the whole time, doing spa treatments and shopping. Clara shows me more photos, Lydia and Joel at romantic dinners by the pool in what's clearly a honeymoon suite. I felt like a third wheel the entire time, but I went along with it because she's my best friend. Or she was. What changed? Clara's expression hardens. I found out about the others. Others? Joel isn't Lydia's first affair, Mark. There was someone before him, a client from her company, and before that, her personal trainer. Lydia's been cheating on you for over 2 years. The words hit me like physical blows. 2 years. While I was building a life with her, raising our daughters, planning our future, Lydia was systematically destroying everything we'd built. Why are you telling me this now? Because she's planning to leave you. Clara pulls up a text conversation on her phone. Look at this. The messages are between Clara and Lydia, dated just 3 days ago. Lydia. I think it's time to tell Mark about Joel. Get it out in the open. Clara. Are you sure? What about the girls? Lydia. Joel and I have been talking. We want to be together properly. I'm going to ask Mark for a divorce. Clara. What about Joel's wife? Lydia. Joel's handling that. He says Karen won't be a problem much longer. I read the messages twice, my anger building with each word. Handling that could mean anything, but given Joel's track record, I doubt he's planning a gentle conversation. There's more, Clara says. She scrolls to another conversation. This is from last week. Lydia. Mark's been acting weird lately. I think he might suspect something. Clara. What makes you think that? Lydia. He's asking more questions, paying attention to my schedule. Joel thinks we should be more careful. Clara. Maybe you should just tell him the truth. Lydia. Not yet. I need to talk to a lawyer first. Make sure I get the house and custody of the girls. Mark won't fight me. He's too passive. Passive. The word stings more than it should. Lydia thinks I'm passive, that I'll just roll over and let her take everything I've worked for, everything I care about. She's about to learn how wrong she is. Clara, I say carefully, I need to ask you something, and I need you to be completely honest. She nods. Are you willing to testify to all of this? In court, if necessary? You mean in a divorce? I mean wherever the truth needs to be told. Clara looks at her phone, then back at me. Mark, I've been covering for Lydia for months, and it's been making me sick. She's my friend, but what she's doing to you and your daughters is wrong. So yes, if you need me to tell the truth, I will. I reach across the table and squeeze her hand. Thank you. You have no idea how much this means to me. What are you going to do? I'm going to give Lydia exactly what she deserves. After Clara leaves, I sit in my car for a long time, processing everything she's told me. 2 years of affairs, plans to divorce me and take the girls, Lydia and Joel playing house while their spouses are left in the dark. My phone buzzes with a text from Karen. Joel came home last night with his tail between his legs, confessed to everything, begged for forgiveness. I told him I needed time to think. I call her immediately. You didn't forgive him, did you? Are you insane? Karen's laugh is bitter. I told him I forgive him so he'd relax his guard. He has no idea what's coming. Good, because I just learned some very interesting things about our spouse's plans. I fill Karen in on my conversation with Clara. By the time I'm finished, she's practically vibrating with anger. They think they can just destroy our families and walk away, she says. Joel actually thinks I won't be a problem much longer. We'll see about that. What do you have in mind? I'm thinking it's time for a family gathering, something public where lots of people can witness the truth coming out. I like the way you think. We spend the next hour planning what we're calling the Revelation. Next weekend is the company's annual barbecue, a casual outdoor event where employees bring their families. Lydia has been looking forward to it for weeks, probably because it's another chance to play the perfect wife while secretly meeting with Joel. This year's barbecue is going to be very different from what she's expecting. That evening, I'm in my office when Lydia comes home. She's carrying flowers again, daisies this time, which shows she's at least paying attention to my allergies. She's also wearing a new dress, something I've never seen before. You look nice, I say. New dress? This old thing? She does a little spin. I've had it forever. Another lie. The tags are still attached. I can see them sticking out from under her arm. How was your day? She asks, settling onto the couch next to me. Interesting. I ran into Clara at the coffee shop. Lydia freezes for just a moment. Oh, how is she? She seemed upset about something. Wouldn't say what, but she looked like she'd been crying. Clara's been going through a rough patch with her boyfriend, Lydia says quickly. I've been trying to help her work through it. That's nice of you. You're such a good friend. She smiles, but it doesn't reach her eyes. I try to be. After she goes upstairs, I open my laptop and begin implementing the next phase of my plan. If Lydia wants to play games, I'm going to show her what a real strategist looks like. By midnight, I've created a comprehensive dossier of evidence. Photos, text messages, credit card statements, hotel receipts, and witness testimony from Clara. Everything is organized, cross-referenced, and stored in multiple secure locations. But more importantly, I've sent copies to 3 key people: Karen, Clara, and my lawyer. The game is about to change, and this time, I'm playing to win. The week leading up to the company barbecue passes in a blur of careful preparation and growing tension. Lydia is acting stranger than ever, alternating between guilty over-attentiveness and distracted phone calls that she takes in the garage. She's bought new clothes, changed her hairstyle, and started wearing a perfume that makes my eyes water. You seem different lately, I tell her over breakfast on Thursday. Different how? Happier, like you're looking forward to something. She smiles, and for a moment I see a glimpse of the woman I married. Maybe I am. Sometimes change can be a good thing, don't you think? Depends on the change. That afternoon, Karen calls with an update on Joel's behavior. He's been working late every night this week, she says. Claims he's putting together a presentation for the barbecue. Says he wants to impress the boss. Any idea what he's really doing? Oh, I know exactly what he's doing. I had lunch with Monica from Lydia's office yesterday. Very enlightening conversation. Monica is Lydia's assistant. The same woman who told me Lydia had left early the day I called looking for her. If Monica is talking to Karen, things are about to get very interesting. What did she say? Apparently, Joel and Lydia have been booking conference rooms for private strategy sessions. Monica thought it was weird because they always lock the door and refuse to be disturbed. She also mentioned that Joel's been asking a lot of questions about the company's policy on office relationships. I feel a cold satisfaction settle in my chest. He's planning to go public. That's what I think too. Monica said he's been asking about whether employees can date each other, what the disclosure requirements are, that kind of thing. They're going to announce their relationship at the barbecue, which means they're planning to ask for divorces right after, probably this weekend. I think about this for a moment. Karen, what if we let them? What do you mean? What if we let them make their big announcement? Let them think they're in control, that they're calling the shots, and then And then we destroy them in front of everyone they work with. Exactly. We spend the next hour refining our plan. The company barbecue will be perfect. A casual, family-friendly event where everyone will have their guards down. When Joel and Lydia make their announcement, expecting support and understanding, they'll get something very different. Friday night, Lydia is practically glowing with anticipation. She's laid out her outfit for tomorrow, a sundress I've never seen before, paired with jewelry that definitely wasn't in her collection last month. You're really looking forward to this barbecue, I observe. It should be fun. The weather's supposed to be perfect, and Joel thinks... She catches herself. I mean, everyone thinks it's going to be a great event. I'm sure it will be memorable. That night, after Lydia falls asleep, I make my final preparations. I upload all of my evidence to a secure cloud server, create backup copies on multiple devices, and prepare the presentation that will end my wife's affair once and for all. Saturday morning dawns bright and clear. Lydia is up early, spending extra time on her hair and makeup. She's nervous. I can see it in the way she keeps checking her reflection, adjusting her dress, practicing her smile in the mirror. You look beautiful, I tell her, and I mean it. She does look beautiful. It's just a shame that her beauty is wrapped around such an ugly heart. Thank you. She kisses my cheek, leaving a lipstick mark that she carefully wipes away. I want today to be perfect. I have a feeling it will be exactly what you deserve. We load the girls into the car and drive to Riverside Park, where the company has set up tables, grills, and a small stage for announcements. The event is already in full swing when we arrive. Families scattered across the grass, kids playing on the playground, adults clustered around coolers full of drinks. I spot Joel immediately. He's standing near the grills, wearing khakis and a polo shirt, looking like every other suburban dad at the barbecue. But there's something different about him today, a nervous energy that suggests he's preparing for something big. There's Joel, Lydia says, waving in his direction. I should go say hello. Of course you should. I watch her walk across the grass toward him, noting how her whole demeanor changes as she gets closer. Her walk becomes more fluid, her smile more genuine. When she reaches him, they exchange what looks like a casual greeting, but I can see the electricity between them. Karen appears at my elbow, carrying a plate of potato salad and wearing a smile that could cut diamonds. Showtime, she murmurs. You ready for this? I've been ready for months. The barbecue proceeds normally for the first hour. Kids run around, adults catch up on gossip, and the smell of grilling burgers fills the air. Lydia and Joel are careful to maintain their distance, but I catch them exchanging meaningful glances across the crowd. Around 2 o'clock, Sandra Mitchell, Lydia's boss, takes the stage to make the usual announcements. Thanks to the organizing committee, recognition for employees with work anniversaries, reminders about upcoming company events. Before we wrap up, Sandra says, I believe Joel Baxter has something he'd like to share with everyone. This is it. I feel Karen tense beside me as Joel climbs onto the small stage, Lydia moving to stand near the front of the crowd. Thank you, Sandra, Joel says, his voice carrying across the park. I know this might seem like an unusual venue for this kind of announcement, but I wanted to share some news with all of you, my colleagues and friends. The crowd quiets, sensing that something important is about to happen. As many of you know, I've been going through some personal challenges lately, Joel continues. My marriage has been difficult, and during this time, I've found comfort and support from someone very special. He looks directly at Lydia, who's beaming up at him like he's announcing her Nobel Prize. Lydia Harlan and I have fallen in love, Joel says, his voice growing stronger. We know this might come as a shock, and we know it's complicated because we're both married to other people, but we believe that love is worth fighting for. A murmur runs through the crowd. I see heads turning, people looking for me and Karen, trying to gauge our reactions. We wanted to be honest with all of you, Joel continues, because we respect you and value your friendship. Lydia and I are planning to file for divorce from our current spouses so we can be together properly. Lydia steps forward, her face radiant. I know this isn't conventional, she says, but sometimes life doesn't follow the script we write for it. Joel and I have found something real together, and we hope you'll support us as we navigate this transition. The crowd is silent now. I can see people looking uncomfortable, unsure how to react to this very public confession of adultery. That's when Karen steps forward. How touching, she says, her voice carrying clearly across the park. Joel, honey, I had no idea you were planning to make such a romantic announcement. Joel's face goes white as he sees his wife walking toward the stage. Karen, No, don't stop on my account, Karen says, climbing onto the stage. I think everyone should hear the whole story. About your love affair, about the hotels, about Mexico. Lydia's smile falters as she realizes what's happening. You see, Karen continues, addressing the crowd, what my husband forgot to mention is that this isn't his first office romance. Joel has a bit of a pattern when it comes to seducing married women at work. She pulls out her phone and holds it up. I have photos, if anyone's interested. Hotel receipts, credit card statements, text messages where Joel and Lydia discuss how clueless their spouses are. The crowd is riveted now, watching the drama unfold like it's a soap opera. But the really interesting part, Karen says, her voice rising, is what they were planning to do to their families. Did you tell them about that, Joel? About how you were going to handle me? About how Lydia was going to take her husband's house and children? That's my cue. I step forward, pulling out my own phone. Since we're sharing, I say, my voice carrying across the suddenly silent park, I thought everyone might like to see some of the text messages my wife sent to her best friend. I begin reading from Lydia's messages to Clara. Mark's so clueless. He's more interested in his computers than his wife. Joel and I are planning our future together. I'm going to get the house and custody. Mark won't fight me. He's too passive. Lydia's face has gone from radiant to horrified. She's looking around the crowd, seeing the expressions of shock and disgust on her colleagues' faces. Mark, she says, her voice barely audible, please don't do this here. Why not here? I ask. You chose this venue for your big announcement. I thought it was perfect. Joel tries to take control of the situation. Look, this is getting out of hand. These are private matters that should be discussed privately. Private? Karen laughs, and it's not a pleasant sound. You made it public when you decided to announce your affair at a company barbecue. You made it public when you booked hotel rooms on the company credit card. You made it public when you told everyone at that resort in Mexico that you were newlyweds. The crowd gasps at this revelation. I see Sandra Mitchell's face go pale as she realizes the implications for the company. That's right, I say, addressing the crowd. While I was home with our daughters, my wife was in Cancun with Joel, pretending to be his new bride. They wore fake wedding rings and told everyone they were on their honeymoon. Lydia is crying now, mascara running down her cheeks. Mark, please stop. You're embarrassing the girls. I look over at Sophie and Ellie, who are standing with Ray's family near the playground. They're too far away to hear the details, but they can see that something is very wrong. You should have thought about embarrassing the girls before you decided to destroy their family, I say. Joel makes one last attempt to salvage the situation. This is harassment, he says. We came here to be honest about our feelings, and you're attacking us. Honest? Karen pulls out another phone, Joel's phone, I realize. Should I read some of the messages you sent about your wife? The ones where you call me a nagging witch and discuss how to get rid of me? Joel lunges for the phone, but Karen steps back smoothly. Or maybe I should share the messages about your other girlfriends? The ones before Lydia? Because apparently my husband collects married women like some people collect stamps. The crowd is completely silent now, watching this public destruction with the fascination of people witnessing a car crash. Sandra Mitchell finally steps forward. I think that's enough, she says firmly. This is a family event, and we need to... You're absolutely right, I interrupt. This is a family event, and families deserve the truth. I look directly at Lydia, who's standing frozen in the middle of the crowd like a deer in headlights. You wanted a divorce? I say. You'll get one, but you won't get my house and you won't get my daughters. What you'll get is exactly what you've earned. With that, I turn and walk toward the playground to collect Sophie and Ellie. Behind me, I can hear the crowd erupting in conversation, voices rising as people process what they have just witnessed. The barbecue is definitely over. The aftermath of the barbecue is swift and brutal. By Sunday morning, the story has spread through the company like wildfire, complete with embellishments and speculation that make the truth seem almost tame by comparison. My phone buzzes constantly with messages from friends, neighbors, and acquaintances who've heard various versions of what happened. Lydia hasn't come home. She left the barbecue in tears, driving off in her car while Joel stood on the stage looking like he'd been struck by lightning. According to Karen, who's been keeping me updated via text, Joel went home and locked himself in his office, refusing to speak to anyone. The girls and I spend Sunday quietly. I make pancakes for breakfast. Real ones, not the frozen kind. And we watch movies on the couch. Sophie and Ellie know something happened at the barbecue, but they're not asking questions yet. Kids are resilient, but they're not stupid. Where's Mom? Ellie asks during a commercial break. She had to take care of some things, I tell her. She'll be back soon. It's not technically a lie. Lydia will be back. She'll have to be, if only to get her clothes. But the woman who comes back won't be the same person who left. And Monday morning brings the first real consequences. Sandra Mitchell calls me at 8 a.m., her voice carefully professional. Mark, I wanted to reach out personally to discuss what happened on Saturday. I appreciate that, Sandra. I want you to know that the company doesn't tolerate the kind of behavior we witnessed from Joel and Lydia. We're conducting a full investigation into their conduct, including the misuse of company resources for personal activities. Company resources. That's corporate speak for booking hotel rooms on the company credit card for affairs. I understand you have to protect the company, I say. We also want to protect our employees and their families. What happened to you was unconscionable, and I want you to know that we support you completely. After Sandra hangs up, I sit in my office thinking about how quickly things change. 3 days ago, Lydia was a respected HR executive with a bright future. Today, she's unemployed and unemployable, at least in Dallas. My phone rings. Unknown number, but I recognize the voice immediately. Mark, it's me. Lydia sounds exhausted, her voice hoarse from crying. We need to talk. Where are you? I'm staying with my sister in Austin. I needed some time to think. Take all the time you need. Mark, please. What happened on Saturday? It got out of hand. I never meant for things to go that far. Which things? The affair, the lies, or the plan to take my house and children? Silence on the other end of the line. I know you're angry, she finally says. You have every right to be. But we can work this out. We can go to counseling, try to rebuild. Rebuild what, Lydia? You've been cheating on me for 2 years. You were planning to divorce me and take everything I've worked for. What exactly is there to rebuild? Our family, our life together. The girls need their mother. The girls need a mother they can trust. Right now, that's not you. Her voice breaks. Don't take them away from me, Mark. Please, I'll do anything. You should have thought about that before you decided to destroy our family. I hang up and immediately call my lawyer. If Lydia thinks she can manipulate me with tears and promises, she's about to learn otherwise. Tuesday brings more fallout. Karen calls to tell me that Joel has been suspended from his job pending the investigation. Apparently, the company discovered that he'd been using his corporate credit card for business dinners that were actually romantic rendezvous with various women over the past 3 years. They're talking about pressing charges, Karen says. Fraud, misappropriation of funds, that kind of thing. Are you okay with that? Mark, my husband has been stealing from his company to pay for affairs with multiple women. I'm more than okay with it. Wednesday, Clara calls. She sounds nervous but determined. I gave a statement to Lydia's company, she says, about Mexico, about the other affairs, about everything I knew. I thought you should hear it from me. Thank you. That couldn't have been easy. It wasn't, but I'm tired of covering for people who don't deserve it. Lydia's been calling me nonstop, begging me to recant my statement. Are you going to? Absolutely not. What she did to you and your girls is unforgivable. Thursday evening, Lydia finally comes home. I'm in the kitchen helping Ellie with her homework when I hear her key in the front door. The girls look up, uncertain how to react. Go upstairs and finish your homework, I tell them quietly. I'll call you when dinner's ready. They disappear quickly, sensing the tension in the air. Lydia appears in the kitchen doorway looking like she's aged 10 years in a week. Her hair is unwashed, her clothes wrinkled, and her eyes are red from crying. Hi, she says softly. Hi. Can we talk? I gesture to the kitchen table. She sits down across from me, the same table where we've shared thousands of meals, made plans, discussed our dreams for the future. I'm sorry, she says. I know that's not enough, but I needed to say it. I'm sorry for everything. Which part are you sorry for? The affairs, the lies, the plan to take my children? All of it. I lost my way, Mark. I made terrible choices, and I hurt the people I love most. You didn't lose your way, Lydia. You chose your way. For 2 years, you chose to lie to me every single day. You chose to betray our marriage, our family, our life together. She's crying now, tears streaming down her face. I know. You're right. I have no excuse. No, you don't. We sit in silence for a moment. Finally, she speaks again. What happens now? I slide a manila envelope across the table. Divorce papers. My lawyer will be in touch with yours. She opens the envelope with shaking hands, scanning the documents inside. Her face goes pale as she reads. You're asking for sole custody? I'm asking for what's best for the girls. They need stability, Lydia. They need a parent they can trust. I'm their mother. You're a stranger who happens to share their DNA. The woman who raised them, who tucked them in at night, who promised to love and protect them. That woman disappeared 2 years ago when you decided Joel Baxter was more important than your family. She's sobbing now, her whole body shaking. Please don't take them away from me. They're all I have left. You should have thought of that before you threw them away. I stand up and walk to the window, looking out at the backyard where the girls used to play while Lydia and I sat on the deck, planning our future together. You can see them, I say without turning around. Supervised visits at first. If you can prove you're stable, that you're committed to being a real mother instead of a part-time player, we can discuss shared custody. What about the house? What about it? The papers say you want me to sign over my half. I turn to face her. This house is the girls' home. It's where they feel safe, where their memories are. You want to sell it to split the proceeds, but I won't let you destroy what's left of their stability. How am I supposed to live? I lost my job, Mark. No one in Dallas will hire me after what happened. That's not my problem. You made your choices. Now you get to live with the consequences. She wipes her eyes with the back of her hand. You've changed. You're not the man I married. You're right. The man you married was passive. He trusted you, believed in you, put your needs ahead of his own. That man is gone, Lydia. You created this version of me. I walk back to the table and sit down across from her. You have 2 weeks to pack your things and find somewhere else to live. After that, you're trespassing. 2 weeks? 2 weeks. And Lydia, if you try to manipulate the girls, if you try to turn them against me or make them feel guilty about your situation, I'll make sure you never see them again. She stares at me for a long moment, and I can see her trying to find some angle, some way to manipulate the situation to her advantage. But there isn't one. I've thought of everything, planned for every contingency. I never meant for it to end like this, she says finally. Yes, you did. You just thought you'd be the one holding all the cards. She stands up slowly, clutching the divorce papers. What about Joel? What about him? Are you going to keep destroying him too? I lean back in my chair and smile. Not a pleasant smile, but the smile of a man who's finally learned to play the game. Lydia, I don't need to destroy Joel. He's doing a fine job of that himself. But if he comes near my family, if he tries to contact my daughters or interfere in their lives in any way, then yes, I'll finish what I started. She nods slowly, understanding that this conversation is over. Can I say goodbye to the girls? They're your daughters. Of course you can say goodbye. But as she walks upstairs, I know it's not really goodbye. It's the end of one chapter and the beginning of another. The girls will see their mother again, but the relationship will never be the same. How could it be? I sit in the kitchen listening to the muffled sounds of conversation from upstairs. Lydia trying to explain to Sophie and Ellie that she's going away for a while, that she loves them, that this isn't their fault. At least that last part is true. 20 minutes later, she comes back downstairs carrying a suitcase. I'll be back for the rest of my things, she says. I'll make sure I'm here. She pauses at the front door, looking back at the house that was her home for 10 years. Mark? Yeah? For what it's worth, I really am sorry. I know you are. You're sorry you got caught. After she leaves, I go upstairs to check on the girls. They're in Sophie's room, sitting on the bed together. Ellie is crying quietly, and Sophie has her arm around her little sister. Is Mom coming back? Ellie asks. She'll visit, I tell them, but she won't be living here anymore. Because of what happened at the barbecue? Sophie asks. She's 12, old enough to understand more than I'd like. Because your mom made some choices that hurt our family, but I want you both to know that this isn't your fault. None of this is your fault. I sit on the bed with them, pulling them both into a hug. What's going to happen to us? Ellie asks. We're going to be okay, I tell her. We're going to be better than okay. We're going to be a family. A real family that doesn't keep secrets or tell lies. Promise? Ellie asks. I promise. And for the first time in months, I mean it. The next morning, I wake up to sunlight streaming through the bedroom windows and the sound of birds singing in the oak tree outside. For a moment, I forget everything that's happened, and I reach across the bed for Lydia. But the other side of the bed is empty, and memory comes flooding back. I lie there for a few minutes, processing the strange mixture of loss and relief I'm feeling. My marriage is over. My family is broken. But for the first time in 2 years, I'm not being lied to. Downstairs, I make coffee and sit at the kitchen table with my laptop, reading emails. There's one from my lawyer with an update on the divorce proceedings, one from Sandra Mitchell about the company's investigation, and one from Joel Baxter with a subject line that makes me smile. The Phoenix rises. I open Karen's message. Joel moved out yesterday, took nothing but his clothes and his precious BMW. The kids are handling it better than expected. I think they're actually relieved not to have to tiptoe around his moods anymore. How are you holding up? I type back, 1 day at a time. How's the investigation going? Her response comes quickly. They found evidence of fraud going back 3 years. Joel's going to face criminal charges. Couldn't happen to a nicer guy. I close the laptop and finish my coffee, thinking about justice and consequences. Joel Baxter thought he could seduce married women with impunity, that his charm and expensive suits made him untouchable. Lydia thought she could have her cake and eat it too, maintaining her perfect suburban life while pursuing her exciting affair. They were both wrong. The girls come downstairs for breakfast, and we sit together at the kitchen table like we have hundreds of times before. The same chipped blue bowls, same mismatched spoons, same sunlight spilling through the window over the sink. But this morning, everything feels different, like the air has shifted, like the lies that used to fill the space between us have finally been cleared out. This time, we're not pretending everything is fine. This time, we're facing the truth together. "Dad?" Sophie says as she's finishing her cereal. She looks older than she did a week ago. Maybe she is. "Yeah? I'm proud of you." That stops me. For what? For standing up for us. For not letting Mom take us away from our home. I reach across the table and squeeze her hand. Her fingers are small but strong. Her mother's hands, but steadier. "You're my daughters. I'll always stand up for you." "Even when it's hard?" Ellie asks, pushing her hair behind her ear the way she does when she's trying to be brave. "Especially when it's hard." We finish breakfast in a quiet that doesn't hurt. Just shared space. Shared understanding. I drop them at school, and they both hug me a little longer than usual. For the first time, I don't wonder if I'm doing enough. I just know I am. I drive to my office and spend the day working on a new security system for a client. Heavy code, complex hardware, the kind of work that pulls you in so deep there's no room for anything else. For several hours, I don't think about Lydia or Joel or divorce papers or custody agreements. I don't replay conversations or rewrite history in my head. It's the first normal day I've had in months. And normal feels extraordinary. That evening, Ray stops by with pizza and beer. We sit on the back deck while the girls do their homework inside. Pencils scratching, pages turning, their voices drifting through the screen door like the sound of a future still possible. "So," Ray says, opening his beer, "how does it feel to be free?" "I don't know yet. Ask me in a year." He chuckles. "You did the right thing, at the barbecue, I mean. Lydia needed to face consequences for what she did." "I know, it just doesn't feel good yet." "It will," he says, and he means it. Ray has a way of being right about things I wish he wasn't. Trust me on this one. We fall into a comfortable silence, the sky turning orange, then pink, then the soft violet that comes right before night. There's a calm here I didn't think I'd get back. "What's next?" Ray asks. I focus on the girls. Make sure they're okay, that they feel secure. Everything else can wait. "And Lydia?" I take a slow drink of my beer. Lydia made her choices. Now she gets to live with them. As if summoned by our conversation, my phone buzzes with a text from her. "Can I take the girls to dinner tomorrow, please?" I show the message to Ray, who shakes his head, no hesitation. "Too soon," he says. "She needs to prove she's stable first." He's right. The girls deserve consistency, not apologies followed by more chaos. I type back, "Not yet. Give it some time." Her response comes fast, like she was waiting with the phone in her hand. "How much time?" I stare at the words. There's no calendar for rebuilding trust, no countdown to forgiveness. I answer, as much as it takes. Ray raises his beer in a toast. "To new beginnings." "To new beginnings," I agree, clinking my bottle against his. And for the first time since this whole nightmare started, I actually believe it's possible.